Listen, there's a specific type of woman who's harder to read than anyone else. She's not cold. She's not disinterested. In fact, she's the complete opposite. She wants you so badly that it actually terrifies her. And because of that deep fear, she's doing everything in her power to hide it, to push you away, to convince both herself and you that she doesn't care at all. But here's the twisted truth. The more intensely she wants you, the meaner she might act. The colder she appears, the more distance she deliberately creates. I know that sounds completely insane. Most guys hear this and immediately think it doesn't make any sense. If she really likes me, why on earth would she push me away? Stay with me here because what I'm about to reveal will completely transform the way you interpret her behavior forever. I'm going to show you exactly how to spot when a woman is actively fighting her feelings for you, the subtle little behaviors that always give her away, and that one counterintuitive thing she does that 99% of men completely misread and end up walking away from a woman who actually wanted them badly. Because once you truly understand this, you stop why intense desire terrifies her. Hedonic reversal explained, second-guessing every little thing. You stop feeling confused and overwhelmed, and you start seeing the real truth hidden behind all those mixed signals. This isn't about playing mind games. This is about understanding female psychology on a level that most men never even get close to reaching. And by the end of this, you'll discover the secret psychological trigger that makes a woman finally stop fighting her feelings and openly admit what she's been holding back all along. But first, we have to talk about why these strong feelings terrify her far more than you probably realize. And fair warning, the real reason she's fighting so hard might make you a little uncomfortable. It's the reason it has absolutely nothing to do with you personally. Picture this scenario. She laughs at literally everything you say, but then suddenly goes quiet for days. She opens up about deep personal things one moment, then the next acts like you're just another random guy in her life. She stares at you intensely when she thinks you're not looking, but avoids all eye contact the second you catch her. You've probably convinced yourself she's just not that into you, that you're reading way too much into it, or that maybe you should just move on and forget about her. Here's what's actually going on inside her head. And yes, it's going to sound crazy at first. She likes you so much that her brain is literally treating you like a threat. Not a physical threat, but a massive emotional one. Why? Because there's a psychological phenomenon that most people have never even heard of. It's called hedonic reversal, and it perfectly explains why the things we want the most in life can also terrify us the most. Think about it like this. Have you ever wanted something so badly that you almost didn't want to actually get it? Because if you finally got it and then lost it, the pain would feel absolutely unbearable. That's exactly what's playing out in her mind right now. The stronger her feelings grow, the stronger her resistance becomes. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Studies in behavioral psychology have shown that when women develop intense feelings quickly, they often unconsciously sabotage the connection. Not because they don't want you, but because their deepest survival instincts kick in. Her brain is running an automatic protection protocol. If I don't let myself fully want him, I can't get hurt. If I keep her brain's protection mode and sabotage instincts distance, I stay safe. If I act like I don't care, maybe these overwhelming feelings will just fade away. But feelings don't work that way. They don't disappear just because you try to ignore them. They grow stronger, they intensify, and eventually they start leaking out in ways she can't completely control. And that's when something truly bizarre starts happening. Something so strange that when I first learned about it, I didn't believe it was real either. The signs begin to appear, the tiny cracks in her emotional armor, the fleeting moments where her guard drops just long enough for you to glimpse the truth. But there's one particular sign that's so shocking, most men interpret it as the complete opposite of what it really means. I'll reveal it in just a moment, but first you need to understand the foundation. So, if she's actively fighting her feelings, what exactly should you be looking for? The signs she's fighting her feelings. And trust me, the third one is going to shock you. Before we dive deeper, just do one quick thing for me. Hit the like button right now because what I'm about to reveal in sign number 3 is so counterintuitive, you might think I'm making it up, but I promise once you see it in action, you'll never misread a woman's signals again. Let's keep going. Here's the first sign, and it's by far the most overlooked. She's wildly inconsistent with her attention, but there's always a clear pattern to that inconsistency. One day, she's sending you long paragraphs, laughing at all your jokes, genuinely asking about your day. The next day, radio silence. one-word responses, suddenly busy with the subtle signs she's fighting her feelings, everything except you. This isn't her just being flaky or playing games. This is her fighting a fierce internal battle. Every time she allows herself to get close, her fear surges in and forces her to pull back. But here's what you really need to watch for. Time the cycles carefully. Does she pull away? Every single time you have a truly deep, meaningful conversation, every time there's a moment that feels too real, too intimately connected, that's not random coincidence. That's her emotional panic button going off. And here's the part that will absolutely blow your mind. The better the connection feels to her, the harder and faster she'll pull away afterward. If you had an incredible date and she suddenly goes cold for 3 days straight, that's not rejection. That's her completely freaking out about how much she actually enjoyed being with you. She always comes sign number 1, wildly inconsistent attention with a pattern back though, maybe after a day, maybe after a week, but she can't stay away forever because those feelings simply won't let her. Next, pay close attention to her body language when you're together. This is where the raw truth always lives. She fidgets constantly, plays with her hair, crosses and uncrosses her arms. Her body is literally torn between wanting to move closer to you and desperately trying to protect itself. She might stand unusually close to you one moment, then suddenly step back. She might touch your arm while laughing, then immediately create physical distance again. But there's one specific gesture that's an absolute dead giveaway. If she touches her neck or collarbone while talking to you, that's an unconscious signal of deep vulnerability. It's one of the most exposed areas of the body. And when a woman subconsciously touches it around you, she's revealing that she feels emotionally exposed too. And here's another big one. She asks about other women. But notice how she does it casually, carefully, disguised as simple curiosity. So are you seeing anyone right now? What's your type? How was your weekend? Do anything fun? But here's the crucial tell that most men completely miss. Watch her face the second you answer. If her expression changes, even for half a second, when you mention another woman's name, you've got your answer. That tiny micro expression is pure jealousy. She's desperately trying to hide. She's probing, trying to figure out if it's safe to let herself feel what she's feeling, trying to see if there's real competition. When a woman who's fighting her feelings asks about your love life, what she's really saying underneath it all is, I care way more than I want to admit. Now, here's sign number 3, and I'm warning you in advance. This one sounds completely backwards. She gets meaner the more she likes you. I'm not talking about genuinely abusive behavior here. I'm talking about increased teasing, sarcasm, or playful little insults. Here's why this happens. It's a classic psychological defense mechanism called reaction formation. When someone feels something intensely that they don't want to feel, they unconsciously express the exact opposite. She'll tease you relentlessly, make jokes at your expense, act like nothing you do ever impresses her, roll her eyes when you speak, challenge everything you say. And here's the real kicker. The sharper and sign number 2, revealing body language and vulnerability cues. More cutting her comments are, the more likely it is that she's fighting hard against what she truly feels. Why? Because creating emotional distance through humor and sarcasm feels far safer than admitting vulnerability. But watch closely what happens when you're genuinely vulnerable with her first. When you share something real and deep, her entire tone suddenly shifts. The walls come down for just a moment. The sarcasm vanishes, and you finally see the softer, warmer side she's been hiding all along. That sudden shift. That's the real her breaking through. Everything else has just been armor. Here's another major sign that proves she's secretly obsessed, but refuses to admit it. She remembers everything, and I mean absolutely everything. That random story you told 3 weeks ago about your childhood dog, she brings it up out of nowhere. That food you mentioned once that you can't stand, she remembers when you're ordering food together. That personal goal you're working toward, she checks in on your progress. But here's what's really happening inside her brain. When we're strongly attracted to someone, our brain floods with dopamine every time we think about them. That dopamine rush makes those memories stick like glue. She's not consciously trying to remember all these details. Her brain is automatically encoding them because you matter deeply to her. When a woman is fighting feelings for you, she's paying hyper-focused attention to everything you say, because even though she's trying so hard not to care, she simply can't help herself. And this next sign is so specific, you might think it's impossible, but it happens every single time without fail. She's noticeably nervous around you in a way. Sign number 3, she gets meaner, teasier. The more she likes you. Shocking, she's not with anyone else. You've seen her completely confident, hilarious, and totally at ease with her friends. But with you, there's this electric tension, this charged energy in the air. Watch her hands closely. Does she touch her face more when she's talking to you? Does she fidget with or adjust her clothes constantly? Does she seem hyper-aware of how she's sitting or standing? That's not discomfort. That's raw attraction she's desperately trying to control. But here's the sign that confirms everything once and for all. If she mirrors your body language subconsciously, leaning in when you talk but then suddenly catches herself and pulls back, that's her subconscious mind betraying her conscious resistance. Her body wants to be close to you. Her mind is still fighting it. Now here's what most men do wrong when they start noticing these signs, and it's the absolute worst possible move. What to do when she's fighting her feelings. This is where most guys completely mess it up. They see the signs, they get excited or frustrated, and then they make the one critical mistake that pushes her away for good. They either push way too hard for answers or they give up entirely and walk away. Both approaches are mistakes, but one is far more fatal than the other. And here's the brutal truth. If you push for clarity right now, if you demand to know what this is, if you confess your feelings hoping she'll reciprocate, you'll trigger her deepest defense mechanism so intensely that she'll likely disappear completely. I know that sounds harsh, but when a woman is fighting her feelings this hard, you cannot force her to surrender to them. You can't logic her into admitting she likes you. You can't overwhelm her with attention and expect her walls to magically crumble, but you also can't just walk away cold and hope. Why sarcasm and teasing is her defense mechanism, she'll suddenly figure it out because she won't. She'll convince herself those feelings weren't real, that she dodged a bullet, that she was smart to keep her guard up. So what do you actually do? You create deep psychological safety, but not in the obvious way most people think. Here's the strategy that truly works, and it's so simple that most men completely overlook it. Be consistently steady when she's inconsistent. Don't match her hot and cold energy. Don't chase when she pulls away. Stay grounded. Stay calm. Show her through your actions that you're not going anywhere, but you're also not desperate or needy. You're just there, solid, reliable, completely unshaken by her push and pull behavior. This does something incredibly powerful to her psychology. It proves to her that her deepest fears are unfounded, that you're not the type to hurt her, that maybe, just maybe, it's finally safe to lower her guard. But here's the secret ingredient most men never use. Give her genuine space to breathe. Then reappear with real value. Don't crowd her. Don't bombard her with messages demanding answers. Don't ask, "What are we?" or "Why are you acting like this?" Just let her process everything at her own pace. The more pressure you apply, the harder she'll resist. But here's the important twist. When you give space, you can't go completely silent either. Reappear with sign number 4. She remembers every tiny detail about you. Something that genuinely adds value to her life. A funny story, an interesting article, something small that made you think of her specifically. This creates a powerful pattern in her brain. When he's around, life feels better. When he's gone, I actually miss that feeling. Be vulnerable first, but do it strategically. Share something real about yourself, a fear you're facing, a meaningful goal, something you're working through personally. But here's the key. Don't dump insecurities on her. Share a vulnerability that reveals depth and strength, not weakness. When you show her that being vulnerable doesn't equal being weak, she'll start feeling safe enough to be vulnerable too. And that's when her walls truly begin to crack. Don't react emotionally to her tests because she will absolutely test you. She'll pull back to see if you'll chase desperately. She'll act indifferent to see if you'll get needy. She'll casually mention other guys to see if you'll get jealous. Pass every test by staying completely unfazed, not cold or distant, but centered in your own value and self-worth. When she sees that you don't need her validation to feel good about yourself, something major shifts inside her. The entire power dynamic flips, and suddenly she's the one wondering if she might lose you. And here's the most important piece, the sign number 5, nervous energy and mirroring around you. One move that makes everything else fall into place. Live your life fully and richly, whether she's actively in it or not. When she sees that you're not sitting around waiting for her to figure out her feelings, when she watches you building your life, growing, thriving on your own, something profound shifts in her mind. The fear of losing you permanently becomes greater than her fear of getting emotionally close. And that's the exact moment she stops fighting her feelings altogether. But there's one final thing you need to know. One powerful psychological trigger that makes her finally surrender completely to what she's been feeling all along. The psychological trigger that ends the fight. I'm going to share something that might sound manipulative at first, but it's really just core human psychology. The moment she genuinely realizes you might actually, biggest mistakes men make, pushing too hard or walking away, move on, her brain flips an irreversible switch. It's called loss aversion. We're all wired to fear losing something we have far more than we desire gaining something new. As long as she believes you'll always be there waiting, no matter how long she takes, she can keep fighting her feelings indefinitely. She has unlimited time, she's emotionally safe. She can keep you at arm's length while she figures things out. But the second she senses you're truly pulling away, not in a petty game playing way, but in a genuine I'm investing in other areas of my life and moving forward way, everything changes dramatically. If this hit home for you and resonated on a deep level, drop a comment below with the word thank you so you truly get this deeper layer of psychology. And make sure to hit that subscribe button because next week I'm revealing the exact words to say when she finally stops fighting and admits how she really feels. You definitely don't want to miss that.